Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. Glad to be back. As you guys can hear, my voice has returned. Luckily, I missed it last week, but I'm glad that Val was able to step in and handle it. How are you doing, Master Jedi?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you, and I'm glad you're feeling better.
Apparently, I had my volume all the way down, so I did not hear anything you just said.
No worries. I said I'm doing great. A little bit of a headache, but I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I don't normally get sick to the point to where I can't talk, but I think we all have those doozies once in a while, so
Yep.
it's one of those things. But if you guys could do me a favor and just spam the channels and TG with AMA for me, I would appreciate it if you guys haven't already.
And get caught up on where we are with things so I can answer some questions.
There.
I think what aren't we doing is the current question.
I mean, honestly, there's so much. I feel like there's a lot in the background, and I mean, each week that you release your progress reports and just the amount of stuff that you guys are even completing is just insane. Everything, all the different projects on the burners and um, wrangling all that and scheduling all of it. It's definitely a task in itself.
Yeah, we got a lot of crap going on, that's for sure. Lunar never sleeps. Somebody's always working.
Especially you with your sleeping habits where you work for so many hours and you like take not even a real sleep, it's like a nap and then you come back at it. It's very impressive.
Well, a lot of that was just because I really and a lot of people don't know this, but I didn't really tell anybody that I wanted to have the portfolio app done. Um, I really wanted it to just like be out before New Year's Eve. So I was like busting my butt trying to get it done so that I could be like, "Hey, Happy New Year, here's an app." It didn't quite work out the way that I wanted it to. But like I didn't even tell the foundation members until they had something to see. So I dialed it back a little bit. Like that was my big goal. Believe it or not, I have dialed it back a touch. But we're still being very aggressive on trying to get things out the door. There's a lot riding on the next few weeks, so we're just trying to show value, folks. Trying to show value.
Well, I hope that everyone can see that. I mean, for all of us that are on the non-tech side, I mean, even just the sheer number of things on your list for weeks, I mean, you can clearly tell that there's so much getting shipped. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, we appreciate you.
No
So,
worries. It's not just me. We got the shepherds and the rest of the contractors that I work with and whatnot are behind the scenes.
killing it.
Looking forward to giving some more code related updates next week. Um, Shepard was also under the weather a little bit, so last couple of days, but he's back in action. So yeah, we like I said, just so much going on, stuff you guys don't even know about yet. Yeah, very excited.
Oh, that's awesome. So I guess I'll go ahead and get started. It's 5 after. So as far as foundation stuff, with the progress reports and stuff, we're still, kind of in waiting for different announceable events and things like that. We are doing a couple of contests for the community right now. We have a monthly Twitter contest that is, or not Twitter, excuse me, meme contest where the winners out of the weeks will be entered into a monthly, and then the monthly will be entered into a yearly. And the prize for the yearly will be a Lunar Genesis crystal NFT. So that's exciting. And the others will be some cash prizes for Lunar as well. So that was Rennick's idea. And so we've been kind of rolling with that. And him and Andre have been feeding a lot of good ideas and kind of like brainstorming stuff for that. And then Near as well, he's been, sending stuff behind the scenes and giving ideas and different things. So I really appreciate the community. I mean, like I said, as I've said multiple times, is That's why I'm here. And you guys just make all of the hard work worth it and dedication. And just know that you guys are appreciated too. Um, let's see. We also are doing the Discord leveling contest. So today we have the bonus XP for 24 hours. It started about, I think, a little after the hour at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So you guys will give you a chance to get up to level 20 to earn that $20 in Lunar. If you happen to be one of the chosen few, go ahead and put in a ticket and then we'll get that Lunar sent to you. And also a big congrats. So I think as far as the community stuff, that's pretty much up to date. Let's see. Did you want to give them kind of a rundown of what you've been working on, Jedi, or do you want to do questions first?
Hey, let me go back to the weekly updates here. It's nice to keep track of that crap. So, been working a lot behind the scenes on information updates just across all of our profiles and whatnot. I don't know if you folks like realize how like much effort it takes to keep like the CMC and the CoinGecko and the BSC scan like profiles and all that up to date. So, one of the big things that we were able to get done, thanks Elon, is the Lunar Dao Twitter account is now verified, and like that verification was really the like we've been working like Lunar, the old team, we were working behind the scenes for like a year to try to get a Twitter account verified because that's the dominoes to get everything else verified. So we got Twitter verified, we got the YouTube account verified. We are awaiting a decision from Telegram on having our Telegram verified. We went through their bot process and then a moderator has to review it. Moderators have not been terribly responsive in the last couple weeks, so hopefully like that changes. We're just waiting on that. We in like keeping of trying to keep all the links and all the places and everything up to date, we went ahead and set up a link tree and got that all squared away. So we'll be replacing that on a lot of the bios and whatnot for location, like where to get the crystals are in there and a whole bunch of other stuff. So really excited about that. On the tech side, we've been doing a ton of work on the needed updates to the contracts. Let me look at. We just he might get mad at me, but Shepard just posted stats on the unit tests, and we went from 96% code coverage on the ERC20 contract to 98.3% code coverage. So like once you're above like 96, it's really hard to dial into 100. So we're super close on that. Very excited about the changes that we've made. The updated LNR contract that's going to go out will have the ability to set different tax rates and different wallets for the exchanges. The main, probably the centralized exchanges, but might put some decentralized exchanges on there as well. It just depends on the operational needs of the contract. That to be clear, that doesn't allow us to set like individual tax rates on individual wallets. It just means that centralized exchanges have different anti-whale guards for the most part. So, like being able to let a centralized exchange hold more than 1% of the LNR long term is important, and some of the current exchanges that we list with require it. So, going through that, we put up an article, or the first in a series of articles talking about getting Auth0 working with Ethereum and Circle. Hopefully, you can see in that article it was not an easy process. And one of the points of the article was to point out to some of the people at Auth0 Circle and sign in with Ethereum that it could be a lot easier. So that was part one. Part two is going to go over token gating and how our new library comes into play with that. One thing that was really interesting about getting the app out the door was there was we did not have to ship another version of the Web3 for Auth0 Actions library because the the basically the interface for checking balances between ERC 20 and ERC 721 is the same. And so we're able to use the same code to token gate with LNR and with the NFTs. That was pretty cool. The biggest, I think, thing that happened last week is we shipped 3 new Lunar 2.0 beta builds. Don't expect that every week, folks. But I do try to respond relatively quickly to feedback. And we added charts in last week. So the charts are another component from CoinBrain, I believe. Those charts are not as like there's not necessarily an API to react to things. So I know people were looking for, hey, can we make the charts bigger? Can we, change the size or the number of things like that? There are a number of changes I want to implement in there that'll let you have more control over the experience, potentially let you switch tokens and things like that. Those will be available in the days and weeks ahead. At the moment, we are focusing on a couple other things and announcements that'll be forthcoming around our products that we will be shipping in the next couple months. So just so that everybody knows, like the platform, it's now called Lunar Portfolio in the roadmap. Um, the improvements, changes, adjustments, all of that will be ongoing. We are going to ship a version to production at some point in the next few weeks, I would say. Um, but my plan for the portfolio is to be continuously shipping features, changes, adjustments on a set schedule so that there's kind of a wouldn't say slow and I wouldn't call it like a drip of improvements, but a steady stream of improvements over time as we're also working to ship other things. Um, I know that, and I'm going to stop ranting here in a second. I know that there's a lot of focus on the platform app in with holders. I know there's a lot of focus within the general community on that app getting shipped. That the portfolio app is a fairly long way away from generating revenue on its own for the business. And so it's important for the foundation and the development process to balance out shipping the thing that everybody expects and that everybody wants to have with things that are actually going to drive revenue. Um, and so, back in the old days, so to speak, the token was the primary focus. It's not always the primary focus moving forward. Like we want to make sure there's a good distributed balance between growing the token, growing subscription revenue, and growing ways that we're bringing in revenue on tokens that are not LNR. So you're going to see that balance played out, especially over the first half of the year. Where we continuously ship features to the portfolio app and are also releasing new functionality, some of which will be tied to the portfolio app that'll be able to generate revenue in other ways. So I know that was long-winded. It might be, complicated to dissect, but hopefully the roadmap will help out with that. Start helping people understand like how these components work together. As some of you may have noticed, that we added in Lunar accounts on the roadmap as a separate thing. And then I think the last thing I'll touch on real quick is I know behind the scenes there's like trying to help people understand why like the Omni wallet is its own like thing on the roadmap versus the portfolio. The strategy on like how we talk about that, at least how I talk about it, has changed a little bit. In that, it's important to know that the Omni wallet and the mobile app and really the when I think about the Omni wallet, my primary use case is in the browser. and I'm always thinking about that browser experience for being a real-time app. Like the portfolio app is great if you're sitting at a desktop and you want to get stuff done and you want to make trades and all that in there, that's fine. But like, as everybody knows, not every transaction is going to happen that way, right? There's still a ton of dApps out there, and dApps need to be able to connect to your wallet of choice and execute a transaction. Well, you know, before the year's out, that wallet of choice should be the Omni wallet and not MetaMask, right? So we it's important to make the distinction that the Omni wallet is going to have some of the basic functionality that was previously talked about in the Lunar app as a whole, and that Omni wallet functionality will be like packaged up and integrated into the portfolio app as a desktop mobile app extension. So I just want, and we'll talk about that more in the days and weeks ahead and help people understand those distinctions. But like when we're talking about what you're going to start seeing over the course of the next year, the Omni wallet to a certain extent comes at a higher priority than the portfolio app, because that core wallet experience is going to be necessary for everybody. So just keep that in mind. We'll be elaborating more on that, like I said, in the days and weeks ahead, especially as you start seeing other information about our schedule. So I think I'll stop there and figure out where my mouse is on my desktop so I can switch over and start answering questions.
That sounds great. We appreciate it. So I will go ahead and start
Here we go.
in the AMA question section then. So it looks like the newest one since the previous AMA was from AK Crypto. So he's got questions about funding basically. So some of this will have to be answered by Jedi, and then some of this will have to be answered by me. So it's talking about the dev funding deal was originally to about 90-day dev funding starting mid-November. And then he's asking, does that last essentially till Valentine's Day? So all of the assets and stuff like that for Lunar Dao are available on the wallets that were listed in the initial, basically, foundation information. So all of that is public. So anytime you guys want to, check that information or whatever, that's all out there for you. The thing with the funding is that it is in crypto. So we all know that crypto is volatile. So an original amount may have been at a certain price. So, those kinds of things we can't really, we can't really control, because if we could, because we would all be millionaires, billionaires, probably. So
Oh
that kind
yeah.
of, I know, right? So if I could make it stable for you guys, you bet I would. But as far as what we had taken from the liquidity pool, most of that has been paid out. We do have a couple, obviously, things in the work as far as other funding options. Master Jedi took a wonderful amount of time to get the most recent proposal out for us for the lunar crystals they were in Binance, right, Master Jedi, originally?
Yeah, so I'll tell the story about that here in a minute. But yeah, they were in Binance. So
We've had a couple of different basically ideas from the community to help continue funding the project. One of those things that we had talked about was doing having Lunar DAO specifically list the crystals, and then having people who want to contribute, purchasing those, because those funds go directly to the DAO, instead of secondary sales and stuff like that. So that's a way for community members to contribute and still get something out of it. One of those kinds of things besides the success of the project. It just, kind of a trade as far as that goes. Anytime anyone honestly wants to donate to the project, the BNB wallet is available. So anyone can do that anytime that they want to. So it's basically up to you guys. I do have a couple other ideas and things in as far as fundraisers going. We're just kind of some of the bigger priorities that we have out there, like you guys are aware of, is the facility deal. We are working on confirming a meeting for next week for a status update. So if we have any shareable information with that with you guys, we will let you know as soon as we do. Some of the other stuff, honestly, we're like Jedi was talking about, was getting other avenues for reoccurring funds, like, the subscription stuff, the different stuff with the widget and things like that. It's just, work in progress.
Yep.
Um, it's talking about, so I kind of covered the facility deal already. And then he was asking if the devs would potentially consider accepting payment in Lunar tokens from the treasury, and agree not to sell or whatever point. That honestly would be something that would be, you know, it's kind of, I hadn't had a chance to go over that. I'm not sure, me personally, I'm not a huge fan of asking anyone to do the work and then be like, hey, but I'm going to pay you, but we're not going to, you can't be paid yet. So
Yep.
that would definitely be, that would be a very difficult situation in many things. Um, so I honestly, I don't even think I would pose that question to you, Jedi. I don't think I would go to any person that is working in a business and be like, hey, I would like to pay you, but you can't get paid yet. So
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna put that out there, to be honest. I don't think anyone that runs a business should volunteer for free.
Well, I mean, I'll take it a step further. It's not even running a business. Hope doesn't pay bills, right?
Right.
And so,
Exactly.
like, I cannot ask my developers to pay bills with Hope. They all have families, they all have kids, they all have young kids that need to be fed. They all do this work and put in a ton of hours. And like, if you understand how developers work in like their value is paid, right? We've done a lot of work on this project in the past that didn't always align with getting paid the way we wanted to get paid, and that's we've experimented with stuff like that in the past. It just doesn't work. So like the goal and the focus of the foundation is to make sure that money's coming in the door. Um, but to give tokens and say you can't sell them, but keep working, and oh, by the way, you just went from getting paid X to getting paid zero, and you have rent due next month, or you have a mortgage payment, like that's not going to fly. I won't ask my developers to do that, and I'm just
Yeah.
going to be real clear and upfront. Like it's not. Everybody has to remember. Um, everybody on the project is human, and everybody on the project has to breathe, eat, and sleep. And so like those basic needs have to be met.
Uh, I absolutely agree. And that's why if there is things that people want to do, like I said, donating to the BNB wallet or buying the crystals that Lunar Dao is putting up, those kinds of things are great ways to help. DMing us directly if there's some other options that you may want to pursue. Those are all things that you guys are welcome to do. We're not
Yep.
going to, limit any sort of support from you guys or anything like that. But as Master Jedi said, I would not, I mean, I am volunteering, but I would not expect to work for free, especially when it is a business.
Yep.
You have families, you have bills. I mean, those things just don't go on pause because you're being paid on pause either.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just that's just logical to me,
Look,
but
until we have a system where you can pay for groceries in Lunar, that's not possible. I'd love for that to be possible, and it's definitely, that kind of thing is part of what we're working towards. So, that'll be there. I will. Is it okay, Silver, if I talk about the NFT stuff for a minute?
absolutely, I would love that.
Okay, so here's the thought behind the NFT, selling the NFTs and all that good stuff. So we put a lot of time, effort, energy into trying to get the NFTs listed with Binance. Behind the scenes, that time, effort, and energy was almost 100% wasted. I say that because it's been next to impossible to work with a Binance NFT team. And I hate, like, I want to partner with Binance, and I hate that we have to have that discussion, but the discussion really is I've tried contacting them dozens of times over the last 2.5, 3 months, and I've had zero response. I always get passed through Binance regular support, and then they say email the NFT team, and the NFT team never responds. I've tried them in Telegram, I've tried them in Discord, nothing. So um, those tokens were stuck, and we were essentially out of options. So here's the thing. We've had a lot of DMs from a lot of people saying we're concerned about the status of the treasury, we're concerned about development being able to go, like what can we do to help? So people have talked about like subscribing to Lunar for $1,000 a month. That's one idea, which is, fine, great. There's, I've mentioned several times in Telegram that like the Treasury wallet is public and like nothing is stopping anybody from just throwing BNB or whatever in there if that's what they want to do. And we really appreciate that idea. And I want to make sure I say, like, I really appreciate everybody's concern, help, support, all of that good stuff. Like, it means a lot. Um, Realistically, like, I just personally feel like if you're going to be involved and help out at that level, that you should like it should be for something. Like, and it makes a lot more sense just from my perspective to take we have like 16% of the supply of NFTs that were locked in Binance. These are doing nothing right now. It's not helping anybody do anything. And that's a token, right? We don't want to sell LNR, so let's sell a token that doesn't affect LNR in any way, shape, or form. So the Silver did the research on the NFT, like what was going on in the market and whatever, and sent that stuff back over to me. And we put together like how are we going to sell these things. And it's important to note that when you're trying to do a fundraiser like this, where like look the first NFT sale was also a fundraiser, but you didn't know what crystal you were going to get. So everybody paid the same price, right? This time around, you know what crystal you're getting, you know where it's coming from, you know the wallet it's coming from, and all that good stuff. It's not necessarily just an open market sale. You're going to be pointed to the treasury wallet that has the NFTs, and you're going to buy from there. Now, what happens from a market dynamic standpoint when you do this? Well, first off, the OpenSea has a requirement that if you want your project to be verified, your collection to be verified, you have to do X number of Ethereum in sales, and right now, roughly works out about $500,000, give or take. So we can't get the collection verified until there's 500,000 in sales on OpenSea. Okay, that's item number one. Two, we've got all these crystals that are sitting right now, not doing anything. So we might as well put them to use and might as well get them out to the community and let you guys have something in exchange for helping keep the project run longer or the business going. So then the third thing is if we are doing this as a fundraiser and we're setting these prices, then setting the prices higher than the market, A, gives you something tangible, and we've been clear about like the crystal being membership, being art, potentially being other things in the future. You actually get something for that, and it raises the floor price for everybody else. And so it helps if you believe in this project and you're buying in, your participation in that process makes the crystals more valuable for everybody, which is a net win for the community. Because if you start seeing price action on or sale action on OpenSea, that's not tofu NFT or some like secret dark, corner of the BNB chain. This is like a major area now. So the token's going to, or the NFTs are going to see movement. They're going to see action. They're going to see getting other people involved. And so like it's instead of just saying, hey, everybody just send 2 BNB to the BNB wallet for a fundraiser so we can keep this thing going? Like, why not kill 3 or 4 birds with one stone and help like raise the value of the ecosystem as a whole? And that's really the central focus of like why that proposal exists, why we're going to get that passed later today, and then move forward with getting these NFTs up on OpenSea. So I know there were some questions on, well, you'll never get, 2 BNB for something that's being sold for 0.2 BNB or whatever. The idea is people have messaged us and said, hey, I want to like get involved. And this is a way to get everybody involved, raise the level of the ecosystem, and make the tokens that already are out there more desirable and more valuable as well. So I'll stop there. Hopefully that like helps understand the thought process behind it. and why we're gonna like move forward with that to help us, keep things moving while the facility deal is still in progress. By the way, I want to like to Silver's point earlier. The facility deal is still in progress right now. It's a long wait. It's not a yes till all the no's are gone, and so we're gonna get some clarity on that here soon. So it's still in motion.
Yeah, so we haven't, like you said, it's just, we're touching base with them and stuff next week. So it's just one of those things we can't give you a whole lot of information because, of the NDA. And also we all kind of took a joint stance, better safe than sorry. Um, but like you said, so that's in progress. I know AK had also asked about the B&B stuff with the investigations for money laundering and things like that. Let's face it, guys, Lunar is tied to B&B. So anything that happens to them is going to affect us, just like the rest of the market and everything like that. It's not something we can directly control. So there's always going to be hot topics when it comes to crypto because the whole point is being decentralized. And unfortunately, the good people will have those things that happen to them because bad people take advantage. So I mean, frankly, that's just life. And we just have to try and mitigate and do the best that we can. That was one of the things that we were talking about as a foundation, diversifying our portfolio to have more than the certain kinds of tokens that we have in there right now, getting us some stability and some different income that way. These are all ideas that we're talking about and working on getting implemented in the future, things like that. So it just, it's progress. I mean, the market is down everywhere. It's crazy times for everybody, but the fact is that we're still here. We still have an amazingly supportive community. We are still shipping stuff weekly, thanks to Master Jedi and his team. So, I mean, even when we're down, we're up, is how I feel. But
Yeah, I mean, venture capital and regular startups have a saying for that, right? It's like flat is the new growth,
yep,
right?
exactly.
So if you're alive, you're still moving, right? If you are not alive right now, then those were the companies that were flat are now dead. So we're still here, we're still shipping, um, and we'll ship for as long as we can. So I'm very excited for what will be announced or what you will have the knowledge you will have available to you by the end of this month. I'm very excited. Regardless of what happens with the facility deal, we have a lot going on. So
And I mean, you guys got to think that, I mean, the directors are here and we're devoting basically, I know I'm devoting the majority of my free time here. Um, we're not doing it for nothing. We genuinely believe in this project. I mean, some of us have quite large bags, some of us have quite large, crystal holdings. And, we were all there with you guys in the trenches in the beginning, and we're going to continue to be here with you. And it's not for, we're not just like, oh, well, we're just going to go down with the ship. I'm sorry, but I'm here to, have a better future, just like all of you. And that's what we're working towards. So anytime you guys can support just by doing a retweet even, or coming in and saying hi in Discord, all of that stuff, those small things benefit us, and
yep.
anything is wonderful. And if you happen to be able to buy a crystal and support the project on OpenSea, one thing I do want to mention is that OpenSea, if there is enough transactions on their platform for a certain NFT, they will do features for them. So that will also increase visibility for Lunar as a whole. Yes, it may be coming from the NFT side, but any way you get eyes on your project, doesn't matter where it comes from, it's a good thing. That is how I came here, was through the NFTs. If it hadn't have been for them, I wouldn't be here at all. So, I mean, I wouldn't have even heard of Lunar, which thank goodness I did. But so like I said, any eyes, any visibility, any word of mouth is always a wonderful thing for a project.
Yep. Especially if we're not paying for it, right? And let's like something else that's been brought up when the community is like, can we spend some money on PR and stuff like that? And like, and I say this very like specifically, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings when I say it, but like my first question is why? Like what are we going to get out of that? What is the direction? And the thing about stuff like this is, again, killing multiple birds with one stone. If you can go in and drive traffic on that marketplace and get it featured, get it listed, get it tweeted about, all that fun stuff, then that's PR nobody paid for, right? I mean, you paid for it because you bought an NFT, but that's the point. Like you're continuing to engage with the ecosystem in a way that raises its profile. And like you can do that in ways where, shady PR firms don't try to take 20 grand from you and then give you shit articles that aren't going to get you anywhere. That's just a reality. So, apologies to whoever is going to have to bleep that out for me in the YouTube. But I mean, that's the reality, is that there are way more if you think regular crypto people can be predatory, just wait till you get into crypto PR. I mean, most of it's a scam. So like we have to do things that are going to raise our profile, and be smart about that. And you folks getting engaged is the best way to do that.
Yeah, Misky Lunatic had this wonderful idea for the shill squad, and the response have just been amazing. He was talking about it in chat. I'll have to have you post some stuff in there if you have time, Misky, just for the community, if in case they missed it. But the impact on that has been huge, and
Yeah.
it's just we've got people even coming over from TG that haven't even been in Discord, just for hanging out today. So honestly, anytime we all work together, it's amazing. And your guys' ideas are always welcome. Feel free to DM me if you need to, and then we'll work at stuff. I will not click on any links, so don't. But um, anything, I really try hard to take feedback or ideas. I'm never too proud to say an idea is better than mine, especially if that helps everybody out.
Yeah.
Let's see. I
I
didn't see.
saw earlier that somebody had their hand raised and they've waited like 30 minutes for me to shut up enough to be able to ask their question. So, like, if you had a question, feel free to raise your hand. We'll bring you up.
I think I saw that too. My screen doesn't show everybody that's in here, so
Mine
there.
does, and I'm not seeing any hands at the moment.
Okay. Anyone else would like to come up and get some more clarity or have any questions from the audience? Oh, look, there we go. Toasty, ever faithful. We appreciate
All
you.
right.
I invited him. There we go.
Hello.
How are you?
What's up?
I am doing okay. Thank you for asking. How are you guys doing?
I
No,
can't.
I've been in all AMA, so I basically already know, don't I?
We're doing good.
So, I have one of the hard questions to ask, right? I know this might cause FUD, but I'm still gonna ask it. If after the whole funding rant, thank you for it, by the way, it was very interesting. But I'm still gonna ask it. If the funding runs out and Lunar can't, well, the foundation can't make the next dev payment, what's gonna happen? I know we're
Well,
all like filled with hopium, but we still need to face the facts.
oh, for sure. Honestly, if we have zero options and we need to pay Jedi, more than likely it will have to come from one of the treasury accounts. Um, Obviously, we are avoiding selling Lunar at any cost because it affects the price, but at the same time, continuing the project and having people that are holding on, even if it's a little dip now, then eventually, not financial advice. I have to put that in there. It'll be worth it in the long run. It's just a matter of using what resources we have. Worst case scenario, that's obviously not the plan that we want to use. And like as you can hear, we have a lot of other things in the works. It's just a matter of kind of getting there until we can use better avenues is all. So
Yep.
there's money there. We just don't want to use it unless we absolutely have to.
So even selling from the treasury, nobody wants that. But even if you can't make the next dev payment without the crowdfunding, the project doesn't just stop. Because I think that's the biggest issue people have been thinking about. It's just like the dev work falling away and Lunar just stopping. That's people's biggest fear. It's my biggest fear, if I'm being honest. So that's why I'm also asking this.
And no, that's a wonderful question. No, it doesn't just stop. We have, like I said, we're avoiding it because we don't want it to to create, the negative feelings just because of if we have to sell, for any sort of reason. But that doesn't stop. We're going to hold on to Master Jedi and his genius with everything viable. so yes. So no, it wouldn't just stop or anything like that. I mean, the community just needs to be aware that if, we do have to sell, you will know. I mean, hopefully people will be supportive and be like, whatever we got to do to keep growing. Obviously not everyone's going to feel that way, but you do what you got to do. And like you said, we're building in a market that's not great. And so many projects, we talked about this previous AMA, are just gone, and we're still here and we're thriving, in my opinion, in the market. So, I mean, you just do what you got to do, but we're not stopping. We're not stopping unless there's absolutely nothing left, in my opinion. But
I mean, more projects are dropping off every day, and Coinbase, for example, just laid off 1,000 people. So
Yeah, I read that as well.
right? So we're still here, we're still coding, we're still making stuff happen. We still and I want to it's a great opportunity, and I appreciate the question, Toasty, to reiterate that there are a ton of really smart people that are involved in this project that don't want to see it fail, that have messaged us behind the scenes and are willing to help out with bringing things to the table. And so there are resources being brought to bear to make those things happen, in addition to all of the stuff that you've seen. And I want to be clear about something like the task list that we say, here's the stuff that got done every week. Not everything's on there, guys. Not everything that's being done is on that list, because there are certain things that we can't talk about until they're ready to be talked about. So as I know everybody's concerned about the dev team and movement is everybody's primary focus, and that puts, I'm going to say, a non-zero amount of pressure on me and the developers to make sure we're delivering for you folks. And that's why I've felt that the weekly updates are very, very important, because you need to see there's movement. You need to see that we are delivering. And I want to reiterate, we've delivered at least one major feature for the ecosystem every week since this thing has turned into a DAO. And so there is a bigger picture happening when somebody's like, well, why are we focused on Lunar accounts right now? Or why do we have to do this or that? It's because the domino effect of getting this thing done allows the next thing to be done, allows the next thing to be done. So I am always hyper aware of the support that you folks are giving us, and very appreciative when I get DM'd and hey, I want to make sure this thing doesn't die. How can I help? And so you see the NFTs, that's a part of it. I'm sure some people be like, why are we talking about NFTs again? That's why we did the portfolio app. That's why we're going to continue releasing updates to the portfolio app. I want everybody to know we are actively working to try to alleviate everybody's concerns. And when we do those things, it's now up to you and the DAO to help us make sure that the other 40,000 holders know it. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I'm looking forward to these end of the month updates you're teasing. So
I'm
thank
hoping
you
they're a
for
lot
that.
sooner than that. I'm excited, folks. There's so many cool things coming.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
thank you, Toasty. We always appreciate your questions. They're very insightful, and it's brave of you to ask questions that people are thinking and may not necessarily want to know the answer to. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Was there anyone else that had anything else? Was there any questions in Maine that I may have missed? It looks like Andrea tagged us. He was asking if we could sell Lunar Treasury from the Lunar from the Treasury under a bond system. So anything that we would do, it would have to be transparent to the community. I don't see why there's something like that couldn't be implemented. We'd need to confer and make sure everything was on the up and up and things like that. But I mean, we just need to be transparent with you guys. We don't want to do anything that's could be construed as being dishonest or taking anything away from the community or Lunar Dao. So we just have to be careful with those kind of things. But I do like the idea of what you're saying. So that is something we could definitely look at doing too. I know we had talked about, possibly doing some benefits to people that are helping donate behind the scenes, giving them future discounts or who knows, none of that's set in stone, but, some sort of additional benefit in the future. So there are definitely ideas out there. Let's see. Anything else, guys, as far as questions?
This is your chance. Otherwise, you have to wait another week. On one, I have to be honest. Like on one hand, I feel like it makes me nervous that nobody has any questions. And the other hand, I'm like, did my rant answer everybody's questions and then nobody has anything? Like I never know. So feel free to give us some feedback on that front.
I think
know-
most of us always wait for your rants on the AMA because most of the time they answer every question we have.
Okay.
But I did have one last question.
Yeah.
If there's a need for selling from the treasury, will it have to go through a snapshot vote or not?
So anytime the foundation does stuff with any of the funds that hasn't been pre-approved, it does have to go through some sort of approval process from the DAO. It can be like, say, hey, we would like permission to possibly do this from you guys to make you aware. We wouldn't say like, hey, on this date, we're going to sell that, because then, for people that it just creates other things. But yes, we would need some sort of at least acknowledgement from the DAO saying that this is okay, because we can't do anything independently without like knowledge or things like that. So yeah, there would be notice and things for everyone. How we would do that specifically would be in a way that would be as transparent as possible, but without giving too many details, kind of like we did the injections, where we do a little bit at a time, or however we need to figure that out to make it the least impactful in bad ways, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So it's not just going to be one massive candle down. So that's good.
Yeah.
Look,
We don't do anything bad, like, or negative
Good
to
Lord.
affect it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. Yeah, it's not going to be a liquidation. So,
Well, if that is something I have been thinking about, the payment system for paying your devs, Jedi, it's on a monthly basis, right?
I'm not sure if we are. I think the foundation, the contract for work is between the foundation and me, not the DAO. So I think we'd have to have a quick chat about if we are going to talk about specifics about how that works.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Anything else from you guys? Last minute sparks of interest that you guys have or ideas? Like I said, you are welcome to message me or tag me, and I will do my best to get back to you. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else, Master Jedi. What about you?
It's pretty much it. Just appreciate everybody's help and support and messages behind the scenes. And like I said, it's this barring any craziness happening in the next 4 hours, this vote's going to pass, and so we're going to be putting our efforts into getting this up and running as quickly as possible. This is, if you've been messaging us for ways to help, this is your way to help. So it's not going to take. It doesn't take a ton of those sales to keep this thing moving, right? And I'm very excited about the work that we are doing, and very hopeful for the conversations that we're having to where we can start having growth conversations and not prolonging life conversations.
I'm excited.
I think
I'm
everybody
excited. But
So,
yeah, awesome.
all
I
right.
appreciate it. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us on the AMA. It will get posted to YouTube in the next couple hours, and then as long as I'm not a slacker, and we'll get the transcripts up for you guys too. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the AMA section for next time. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later.
Have a great week, everybody. Keep those conversations going. Thanks a lot.